This is for all you rebuildable nuts out there that want to take it to the next level. You know who you are. It takes one to know one. Do you ever find yourself just wanting more? The coil you have in your rebuildable just isn't producing what you want? You want something that produces more dense in your mouth flavor? If so, I got something you're gonna like. It's called the Twisted Micro Coil. There's been a lot of vapors, a lot of videos of people showing how to build these twisted coils. Well, I'm gonna show you guys not only how to build a twisted coil, but also make that twisted coil into a micro coil. So let's say you're using something like 32 gauge Kanthal, and you don't have anything that is of lower resistance, like 30 gauge or 28 gauge, etc. You can twist that 32 gauge into something that is equivalent to, let's say, 28 gauge, which will give you a lower resistance wire, hence a more dense, warmer, more flavorful vape. Same thing goes for 30 gauge. You can twist that into a low resistance wire. This is what I'm going to be using today. About a yard of 28 gauge Kanthal, a pair of pliers, and a Hitachi drill. On that drill, I have inserted and tightened down an Allen key wrench. Now, it doesn't matter what size Allen key wrench you have, just make sure you have one, okay? I've got a yard of this 28 gauge Kanthal, and all I'm going to do is fold it. I'm folding it. So once you have it folded, you want to make sure the two ends are even. All you're going to do is you're going to manually twist these two ends together and just get it started. Okay, just like that. A few more turns. Just below where you started that manual twist, you're going to clamp down. And what that does is that twist holds it in place. So when you give it a little tension, it's going to hold it in place. It's not going to budge. See this loop? So I've got to clamp down on one end with these pliers. Right underneath the manual twist I just showed you, I've got the folded loop over the Allen wrench. Just like that. I'll pull the slack out, and it's all about how you start it, okay? You want to make sure you go slow enough first so the loop doesn't fly off. And also you want to make sure you go just fast enough so the loop doesn't fall off, okay? You got to find a happy medium. Okay, ready? Okay, you want to pull this slack out, it's going slow. Make sure you keep it tight. You keep going at this speed. A little faster. I like to twist it as tight as it can get until it just breaks off. We started with 2 strands, now we just got 1. And it's one twisted little beast. And look how even that twist is. Once I got this started, how long did that take? 30 seconds? So now that we have the twisted coil made, now I'm going to show you guys how to wrap it into a micro coil. So I got about 1.5 feet of this 28 gauge twisted wire. So the next step I'm going to do is cut about 8 inches of this 1.5 feet of wire. So I've got about 8 inches that we're going to be using today right here, and I've also got this 6-inch piece that I can use down the road. 2 pieces of twisted 28 gauge. Yeah, buddy. Today we're only going to be using this 8-inch piece. Next step, we're going to do 9 wraps on this rod, which is also equivalent to something like the 5/64 drill bit. You want to make sure that your wraps are as close together as possible. Fix this in down here. I'll clip this longer lead a little bit. I always make sure that I have a longer lead because it makes it easier to slide it in the connection slots on your RDA. The RDA I'm going to be using today is the Atomic RDA by MCV. Using the longer lead, I'm going to slide it in the positive slot. Shorter goes in the negative. Okay, I'm going to pull these leads in just a little bit. I'm going to tighten down these connections.
Clip those leads. Heat them up a little bit. Once I have the coils all tidied up, I'm going to insert this rod back into the coil. Okay, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt it up. I want it slanted. This is how I prefer it. It gives me a little bit extra room to work with on the small deck. You want it glowing from the inside out. Booyah! So we got a 1 ohm coil right there. I've got my organic piece of cotton. We're just going to slide this through the coil. When I pull my cotton through the coil, what I like to do is I like to grip it on one side and give it a twist and make sure that it slides in and out of that coil like so, just like that. That's what you want. Pull this cotton underneath the coil. Clip this other end. Time to take it to the original screen, show you guys how this bad girl vapes. Woohoo! Oh yeah, full body baby, full body. It's just like going down to the pub. You can walk in there and ask for a Miller Lite, a light-bodied beer, or you can ask for something like a Grolsch, a really full-bodied beer. That's what this coil is. This is a fuller body vape versus something more of a lighter body vape. And that's what I love about this build. That's the beauty of these rebuildables, guys. You can rebuild it to your liking, to your exact liking. Even if you're using 32 gauge, 30 gauge, 28 gauge, it doesn't matter. Tonight I wanted a more dense, in-your-face vape experience. There's a huge difference between a dense vape and a warm to hot, wet type of vape. Do you know what I'm talking about? There's a big difference. A dense vape is like, it's like a mouthful. This type of twisted coil that I made tonight is for your vapor who likes to take long inhales. It's not a short burst type of vape, okay? That's why I made this coil a 1 ohm twisted 28, because the twisted 28 is more like 24 gauge. At 20 watts, it really gives you a long, satisfying vape. It's not a short burst vape. What I mean by a short burst type vape, when you press that button, those coils go and boom, you inhale, you're done. With this, it's a long, warm vape. And it is good. But the thing I wanted to achieve with this build is the density. I'm always looking for more density. I found my flavor. Flavor with all these builds that I've been showing you guys in the last month are, woo! I'm finding that each coil build you do is going to be slightly different in some way. There are huge pros for some coils, there are some cons for others, and with this one, I get great flavor, but the density of the flavor in the vapor, you can feel it more. And that's just because you're taking a regular old wire and you're turning it into a lower resistance wire. And lower resistance wire gives you more density. It gives you more heat. The great thing about this build is that since it's at 1 ohms, it takes more of a ramp up time. Even at 20 watts, I can put 10 drops in here and go for a really long time before it dries out. So I hope this helps. That is how to build a twisted 28 gauge micro coil. Let me know if you guys want me to do a tutorial on twisted 32 gauge Canthal, twisted 30 gauge Canthal, etc. Let me know in the comments. Helping you nutty vapors is what it's definitely all about for me. This is Rip Trippers. Remember, smoking is dead, vaping is the future, and the future is now.